everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be my thoughts and review on the movie Eddington. Released back in July the 18th 2025, it stars Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, Austin Butler, Luke Grimes and Michael Ward, and Deidre O'Connell, and it was directed by Aster. The story is set within May 2020, in the modern world struggling to come to terms with the COVID-19 pandemic. In the town of Eddington in New Mexico, Mayor Ted Garcia looks to enforce lockdown and mandatory wearing of masks for everybody within the town. Local Sheriff Joe Cross disagrees with the mandates set by the mayor, deeming it a restriction of free rights and movement. We see both Cross and Garcia clash several times, which motivates Cross to then campaign to become mayor at the next election. Cross faces further struggles at home, both with his wife Louise, an abuse victim when she was younger, and also their mother Dawn, who's obsessed with conspiracy theories. As the social media and attention around the virus intensifies, we see continued protests and unrests within Eddington as Joe makes a fatal decision that could lead to have devastating consequences to both him and also the town itself. Now, when looking back at Eddington, I really found it to be a very strange film. It had interesting, potentially compelling themes and ideas, an accomplished cast of actors, but it's tonally inconsistent, juggling multiple narratives that are all over the place. It then lacks a central focus, and for all of the messaging and supposed relevancy, it ends up having nothing to say. Despite the real-life event setting, it plays off firstly as a dystopian western, as Eddington is very much a quiet, barren city landscape, which at first gives a certain tension. Despite the real-life placing here, we get much more potential fantasy elements here and scope for horror. The best part of the movie, without question, is the clashing between both Garcia and Cross, where I felt we were going to get a fierce and compelling power struggle. The familiar dynamic of whether striving for a civilian safety, which comes at a sacrifice of both free speech and will. And these themes are all too relevant in today's cultural space, as well as being at the time when the pandemic was truly at large. Had the movie stayed on this trajectory, we could have had something of value. But we then shift the focus to Cross's domestic life, and this is when the movie stalls. I found the whole narrative around Louise and her past completely uninvolving and uninteresting. Emma Stone just seemed to be there in vague presence and not really giving the full, vivid performance that she is capable of. In particular, we get one extended scene where we see the arrival of Austin Butler as some sort of cultural guru. Butler here very eerily looking like a Johnny Depp, but I really didn't see any point in the reasoning of his character, and he just didn't need to be in this movie. As we delve into the social media coverage and the referencing of Black Lives Matter, it all just feels tired and unimportant given the fact that we've gone through this so much in real life, and outside the teenage characters bickering over which side to choose, the film really again had nothing worth of value or any particular point worth referencing. Now, it does carry more urgency, as without spoiling, once Joe deals with his certain actions and how he tries to cover them up, the movie changes again into a much more of a criminal procedural, before going completely all out John Wick style for its particular climax, which whilst is certainly explosive and fraught with a certain danger, overall is very confusing, as we get the emergence of a certain terrorist group without the film ever explaining why they're here or what exactly they're trying to do. You just end up being perplexed and confused as to what exactly is going on. And overall, the film just didn't know what exactly it wanted to be. Did it want to be something satirical, something politically charged? Was it a deeper character study, as we see Joe certainly go through some sort of existential crisis 2/3 of the way through? Was it much more of a police thriller, as I mentioned before? Or was it something offbeat and quirky? It doesn't hit on any of these particular themes and ends up being just pretentious and indulgent and not going anywhere. And the whole thing just meanders throughout its overlong 2.5-hour runtime, where really 100 minutes would have been far more suitable to make its point across, and the running time really just made it a much more frustrating watch. Now, all of the actors and their performances here were absolutely fine. I think both Phoenix and Pascal were very good. Again, the film should have given them much more of the central dynamic in terms of their overall personalities and ideologies. Deidre O'Connell was also good as Louise's mother, but again she kind of flits in and out of the story. But no matter how good the cast here, it's simply not enough to address the film's flaws, and I do think there's something to be said about a lot of these A24 productions. They seem to get lavished with a lot of critical praise and recognition, but for a lot of the movies that I've seen, they do tend to be ponderous, too much driven by concept and lacking much more in foundation and overall compelling story. Now, yes, in the age of continued superhero movies, sequels, reboots and remakes, we should always encourage much more original ideas, films that dare to be bold and interesting and go to places where, if you want, mainstream movies wouldn't necessarily go to. And movies in this direction will definitely freshen up the movie-going experience. But at the same time, you still need to have some sense of direction and purpose in your movie making and storytelling. Otherwise, the whole thing just feels frivolous and much more of an art house exhibition than a powerful story. And this just seems like a complete waste, again, having strong ideas and themes, but not really doing anything about it. I think director Aster just got completely lost in the concepts and the world he was trying to build without trying to really drive home something truly compelling and lasting overall. So there's my thoughts and feelings on the movie Eddington. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any other further movies, television series, or any other topics or issues with the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover in the channel, then also let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please consider hitting like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.